And she said, okay, so within about 15 seconds, she stopped breathing. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? She had this crazy expression on her face, and I thought she was having a stroke. But I'm like, at 13, wait, stroke's 13, 65 or 70, yeah, but not 13. So I said, I'm gonna go to the hospital. I yelled up to my wife, I said, we're taking Haley to the hospital. She was already in the car. She couldn't talk, but she could hear me. So we get her to the emergency room in our local town, and she immediately has a seizure. And I don't know if you've ever seen a child having a seizure, but I was petrified. All of a sudden, she turned gray. I didn't know your body could even turn gray. The doctors say, well, kids have seizures all the time. We don't know why. Let's run some tests. The test came back. We don't know what happened. Bring her home. Just keep her at ease. She just had some brain trauma. And just watch her, keep her hydrated, and feed her if she's hungry. So we fed her later that night, and within I'll never forget this too. I gave her a spoon of mashed potatoes, and she immediately threw it up. So we're like, okay, let's go back to the hospital. So get back to the hospital, and then they finally did a spinal tap, and the results came back with a white blood count that they couldn't even comprehend how bad it was. So the next morning they sent us to Children's Hospital, Philadelphia, where we got her settled, and she was just off. Her brain, there was just something really wrong, and my wife and I are trying to figure out what in the world is going on. And doctors weren't sure either. They were doing all these tests and trying to keep us calm and everything. The next day she had 2 more grand mal seizures. So now my wife and I are really starting to get nervous and what is going on here, and not really getting answers from the doctors, and they continue to do tests. 2 days later, she stops breathing. They had to perform an emergency tracheotomy to allow her to breathe. And so now we're getting very, very nervous. We don't know what's going on. We're sleeping in the hospital room, which if you've ever done that, you know that it's not healthy for you because all the buttons and machines and everything. So my wife was on the couch, I'm in a chair, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. We're nervous. And then we do this for 5 days, and then the following week she falls into a coma. So now we have this 13-year-old girl on July 4th, 2013 that is absolutely healthy as an ox, no problem. Around July 5th, 15th, 16th, this was Haley in a coma for an extended period of time. Doctors not knowing what to do, how to help her, anything, with lots of questions. So my wife and I are completely freaked out at this point. My company said, don't worry, just focus on your daughter, we'll take care of you, don't worry about paying insurance, any of that kind of stuff. We're here for you. So as our lives are completely falling apart, the social worker at the hospital said, we know you're going to be here for a long time. Let me call the Philadelphia Ronald McDonald House up to see if we can get a room for you, because what you're doing right now is not good for you. It's not good for your child. You need a place to stay. And so we called room 37 our home for the next 254 days. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Ronald McDonald House Charities, but they do an amazing, amazing job for people when their families are sick. So, oops. I feel like we missed a slide here. Well, let me show you. I think I hit a slide, I apologize. But hey, the good news is that Haley's recovered and doing great. And so we now tend to give back, or we spend a lot of time giving back. And for example, we work very closely with the Emerson Group in doing events across the country. So we've done it in the Philadelphia House, at the Columbus, Ohio House, at the Chicago House, and hopefully I have Lee Jones and Lindsay Dixon from the Springdale House here today too to talk. But let me just take a minute to share with you in Haley's words about our time. And can you hear that okay?
was 13, I loved being a typical teenager. Until one day when everything changed. I had a seizure and my parents rushed me to the hospital. I lost all mobility and couldn't control my body or even walk anymore. I stopped breathing and fell into a coma that lasted 4 months. My family was terrified, and so was I. But with the help of the Ronald McDonald House, my family could be close to me for the 254 days while I was in the hospital. I slowly began to make a full recovery. My family is forever grateful for the Ronald McDonald House, a home away from our home. Now my dad is biking across America to tell my story and raise money so other kids can get help too. Hi everyone, it's Haley. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be with you all today, but I wanted to thank you so much for listening to our story. We are forever grateful for the support and love from the Ronald McDonald House. Thank you for helping make One Dad's mission a huge success.
So, the very first Ronald McDonald House was built in Philadelphia in 1974 through an amazing partnership between the Philadelphia Eagles, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and McDonald's. And it started through this crazy, again, like I said, this crazy partnership. So Shamrock Shakes, a donation of a quarter at the time, would go to fund the house. And now the whole charities has exploded to 390 houses across the world in 62 countries, helping millions and millions of families annually. As you heard Haley say, we're forever grateful for the time and the love and the support that we spent, because I don't know how we would have survived this horrific time in our lives. The other thing I didn't share with you is that 3 weeks into it, while my company said they would pay me, they stopped paying me. They put me on Family Medical Leave Act. And then they said, oh, by the way, if you want health insurance, write us a check for $1,000 a month. So thank you very much, company, for that. And then the next week, it even got worse. I got the first bill, and it was $2.4 million. So here I've got a daughter who we weren't sure if he was going to live or die. I just lost my job, and a first medical bill for $2.4 million. And I'm going, oh my God, what do I do? Well, you know, like the first slide, you do anything for your child, right? So it was heads down and on making sure that she was healthy and alive and that we could survive. And so through this love and support that we got from the Ronald McDonald House, I gotta tell you, I don't know, how would I have afforded 254 nights in a hotel in Philadelphia, plus food, rent, or food and parking and whatever. They provide all of the services for families during these times of crisis. So again, part of me giving back is to honor this 50th anniversary of this amazing organization. So the original family, Fred and Fran Hill, are still very active in the Irvine, California chapter. So I know somebody's from Irvine. Yeah, so I'm gonna see you on July 29th. In Irvine, California, I'm gonna bike 4,600 miles across the country, stopping at 26 houses